Aloha, guys. I believe anybody who's rational and seems to be receptive to reasoning and logic is part of my family. We're talking men and women. I've learned to be more tolerant and realize that there are people everywhere, and it's important to make healthy connections with them and everywhere. That way, everyone has a sense of family. There's a sense of, okay, somebody needs something to be done, there's going to be less money charged for it, or no money at all, and we sort of have a sense of, okay, we can share this mansion. I don't have to live at that mansion all the time, and this is this is like the next paradigm shift in human society and culture. Not only is it entering into a scale of global community, but where everyone basically has similar, like speaks English, maybe uses similar, uh, you know, has similar beliefs, of positive, it just, anything that renders people, getting them closer together, I think is a good activity, as long as people realize that it's like the genders. It's men. I think it's important for men to reinforce each other, acknowledge each other's presence in public. The same for women, and try to not to mix it per se, because if you mix it and try to be friends with women, then that involves other elements, creates sexual tension, and is just it's destructive to the connectivity of the generations of the youth men and all the men, and then the women, their sisterhood, quote unquote. These are my thoughts. Now, it doesn't matter who I am or who they or others think they are or what they look like. However, it matters who I think I am and what I think other people look like. I'm suggesting I believe everyone is this brilliant white light. And you may think it sounds like a silly, childish, you know, conception, but this is what I do. I imagine and I focus. I imagine that light is disseminated outwards, and obviously I do all my light work techniques. I imagine people are reacting, and they imagine that they're seeing a brilliant white light, in my hand, for example. And this light is healing, and it's as simple as that. You look at Psi seminars that do a routine like this in the Psi Basic. You look at with the white light. You look at Tsukio Mahikari. They do this visualizations with light. You look at the Dr. and Master Shah organization. They work with the same light, as do others. This is something that's mentioned in the Bible. The light, of man, or what, there's countless mentions of it in the New Testament, like the Book of John. Coincidentally, I'm mentioning it too. I'm excited about it. It works for me. It works very well. What it does is it doesn't make life better. I don't think it's possible to make life better. I think it's possible to balance life. To make life have a sense of balance and, equality in your own life, and then that translates to feeling good. Because if you're trying to get really better at, say, exercising, then you might be imbalanced and not enough, spend enough time with your family, for example. Moving on, I think great relationships start off with two people having some commonality, interest in life goals, music, you know, considering each other to be equals. Especially when it comes to things like age and you know you want people with and an intellectual ability. You want people to be with somebody in health that's similar to you, or else you're just doing it for your love of money and intimacy. And You know, these are drugs. These are not real, tangible, sustainable events. Alright, so what else do I have here? You know, how do I recognize or categorize others? You know, do I do it by a physical thing like a phone, a car, house, jewelry, clothing? How about by their smile? Because the smile I've discovered to be is the most powerful, rich thing. It's something that if you're feeling like inadequate or less than somebody else and you just look at them and smile, that is so powerful. It's more powerful than wearing expensive jewelry. And you may not have a preferable reciprocal reaction, you know, but you can imagine in your mind. You can imagine that person smiling and do the light work. You know, use these visualizations, use your mind as a tool. Okay, what else? Be advised. My theory is that when somebody sees things, it gets embedded into their subconscious. And even if they don't think it's good, watching it will have an effect on them. We need to clean our subconscious minds. In the past, we may have thought that things like um, unhealthy people, overweight people, substance abusers, people that have bad habits, we may have ingrained into our mind that that's a normal, acceptable part of life. What needs to be done is not blaming genetics and not blaming other people, but clearing one's mind. You know, in the past you may have seen relationships you thought were quote unquote good, but a lot of these relationships are simply a result of two people needing to survive with each other, coexist, not enjoy each other. And in order to avoid this, and maybe even your parents have, you know, they've done that. But the point is, a short-term relationship starts with two people having a goal of being intimate. And a long-term relationship is a result of having a goal of raising children together, supporting each other's life objectives, and enjoying hobbies, and so on and so forth together. And this is what I do. I help people like myself create wholesome connections with others and prepare that special one. Now, you know, there's a trick that can be used for the mind. Imagining that others know what I know and act according to the way that I would expect them. Like, for example, if I think others should be vegetarian, instead of having this feeling of hoping it will happen, rather I project it around me. And I imagine people eating a certain way, salads, etc. And, and you know, this is a meditation, you know. It's another meditation that can be done is conceptualize having total monetary and other security. What would you do next, you know? That is the place when you're starting to think from a place of freedom. Okay? Now, how about that, huh?